let's be honest. The way the world is at the moment, it's bringing up a lot of unease and fear in people, even in otherwise emotionally strong and resilient people. And it's this general sense of unease, isolation, fear that can overwhelm us and trigger more pronounced states of anxiety, panic, even overwhelming depression to the point of not wanting to go on living. And not surprising that there's been more suicides in the last month than there usually have in a full year. And that is why it's so important to watch this short, helpful video while it's still up online and watch it all the way to the end. The reason it's so important to watch it all the way to the end is because it will tell you the most direct way to permanently free yourself from any dark feeling, including the extreme anxiety, panic, suicidal thoughts that are being triggered by what's happening in the world, or anything else for that matter. Plus, by following what is explained in the short video, you will know the most direct solution to clear up problems in all areas of your life. Now, for example, if you have financial problems, what is explained in the video is the most direct solution. If you have relationship problems or you're feeling cut off, isolated, lonely in life, what is explained in the video is the most direct solution. And as we've said, if you're plagued by any kind of dark thoughts or feelings, or if you just have this general sense that life and all your problems are getting the better of you, what is explained in this video is the most direct solution. As you continue on watching this video, you're going to learn about a simple, scientifically verified technique that you can use on the spot or just as you go about your day to rapidly disappear any and all dark thoughts or feelings that arise, including full-on panic attacks and the darkest of depression. You're going to discover the true story. You're going to discover the true story of this amazing man, a New York physicist, who is responsible for bringing this life-changing technique to the world for all of us to use and benefit from in all areas of our life. And you're going to be introduced to and hear the direct video testimony of a variety of people just like you, who have used this simple technique to give themselves what can only be called a problem-free life. How is it that even possible in today's world, you might be thinking? Well, it all starts with a New York physicist and businessman named Lester Levenson. Now, I'm going to tell you about Lester Levenson's amazing story in just a moment, along with how he devised and used a simple technique to completely heal and transform his broken body and clear up all the problems in his life. Plus, I'm going to tell you how you too can use the very same technique that Lester Levenson devised to flood your mind and body with just a sense of total calm and ease at all times. So imagine for just a moment, there's no more tension, stress, or aches or pains in your body, no more feelings of frustration or resentment at the world or other people in it, no more feeling fed up, bored, hemmed in by all the restrictions and constrictions that have been placed upon us by the pandemic and the politicians, and no more feeling insecure, scared, panicked, depressed. Instead, all of those bad feelings, which only really exist as contracted energy in your consciousness, will finally be released using this simple technique that I'm going to share with you. And what will naturally emerge for you in their place is a feeling of peacefulness, effortless flow, relaxation, and ease. And it's such a delectable feeling, so restoring and rejuvenating to your spirit. It's this feeling of effortlessness that you can experience directly once you understand what Lester Levenson discovered while literally at the death's door, suicidally depressed, and how you can use this technique for yourself. Now, here's the true and fascinating story about that. In 1952, at the age of 42, Lester Levenson was a New Jersey physicist and successful businessman. Well, he suffered his second massive heart attack. Now, in those days, they did not have bypass surgery or heart transplants, so there was very little that the hospital could actually do for him. So Lester was sent home from the hospital with a diagnosis of just 2 weeks to live, 3 at most. Now, naturally, Lester was extremely fearful of dying, became severely depressed, even contemplated ending it all by suicide or overdosing on the morphine that his doctors had prescribed to him. But Lester didn't take his own life, nor did he die of another heart attack a few weeks after being released from the hospital. It's quite the contrary, in fact. See, Lester, in his utter desperation, went within and discovered that he could release the contractions in his consciousness that ultimately caused his heart attack, his heavy depression, all the other problems that he had in life. And just by releasing these contractions in his consciousness, Lester was able to totally heal his body and entered into a totally peaceful and blissful state. Just 3 months after being told by his doctor that he only had 2 or 3 weeks left to live, his whole life transformed into one of effortless ease and abundance. Now, Lester had always worked like a dog to make and hold on to money. And since discovering how to release contractions in his consciousness around money, Lester became more financially prosperous than he had ever been. The funny thing is, after discovering this technique, Lester never really worked at making money in the traditional sense of working. All he did was release any contraction in his consciousness around money, and money would effortlessly show up in his life in abundance. In fact, Lester became a multimillionaire back in the 1950s when that was a serious amount of money without even trying or efforting at all. And moreover, Lester went on to live as a very peaceful, joyous, and abundant life in every sense of the word for another 42 years after his so-called life-ending heart attack. Lester was a very private, quiet man. He wasn't showy at all, the complete opposite of a Tony Robbins type of character. But word got out about Lester Levenson back in the 70s. People were just naturally attracted to his peaceful energy and his effortless approach to life. Actors and actresses sought him out. Businessmen, celebrity agents as well, people who wanted to make it in the world were very drawn to Lester. They saw in Lester someone who was living proof that both material wealth and spiritual peace and abundance are attainable without having to lose who you are. So a long story short, many of Lester's students went on to totally transform their lives into ease and abundance. And today, Lester's technique, called the release technique, is responsible for some really amazing transformation in people's lives. Take Bill, for example, in this video.
Hello, my name is Bill, and my background in terms of the release technique is I've been using it for about 4 years, more or less. My financial life is one where I need not do anything really anymore. I live in a neighborhood where I take frequent walks and visit with others, many of whom are retired from years, decades of working, and they think I'm just a young fellow who's retired very early. In a sense, yes, and that's because all I do is I use the release technique all the time as what I do. It's not something I do on the side, it is what I do, and it produces all the results for me so that not only do I have greater health, peace of mind, better relationships.
Watching the short video, you will have heard Bill say that all he does now is use the release technique. It's what he does for a living, if you will, and it produces all the results for him in his life. His financial life is so good, he need not really do anything anymore. He doesn't need a job nor run any kind of business to generate an income. He has great health, he has peace of mind, better relationships. He has plenty of time to take frequent, relaxing walks and visit with others. And his finances are smooth and always improving all the time, all thanks to the release technique. Now, the release technique takes care of all of his financial abundance. And Bill is not a one-off case. I mean, far from it. Let's take Leslie, for example. Leslie turned around her debt in 6 months after starting to use the release technique in her life. She's no longer in debt. In fact, she's doubled her monthly income. And perhaps even better, she's been able to clear up a lot of conflicts in her life. As Leslie says, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of a decision and using the release technique steps. You can see Leslie speak to you in person in this short video.
Hi, my name is Leslie, and I have been a releaser for about a year now. And I found it during a time when there was a lot of noise and tumultuous events happening. And overall, it has quieted my mind, brought me a lot of deep centering. And as a result, I would say every aspect of my life has just completely transformed. My finances were at a very unstable level, and I now I live really comfortably. I have abundant work.
And then there's Carrie. Carrie started practicing the release technique, and since then her income has as much as tripled. And Carrie says, money keeps appearing, and I don't always know where it comes from. It just seems to appear when I need it. Carrie also reports that every area of my life has become smoother, it's become easier, it's become more enjoyable and happier.
My name's Carrie, and I have been practicing the release technique for a little over a year and a half. Every area of my life has become smoother, it's become easier, it's become more enjoyable. I'm happier. I'm so much happier. And I can't imagine not ever having the release technique as part of my life and my practice.
Now, others have used the release technique to improve their relationships or to find themselves the perfect romantic partner. And still others have used the release technique to lose weight, feel better about themselves. Let's take, for example, Jan Senker. She's a nurse kinesiologist who lost 63 pounds. She kept it off just using the release technique. She's dropped all of her personal hang-ups about her body image and has also got off the yo-yo dieting, the hamster wheel, after being on it for years. In fact, Jan says she now feels wonderful because she knows that she'll never go back to being the overweight person with all the body issue hang-ups that she had before. All because she used the release technique to zero in on the subconscious programs about her body that were ruining her life. So can you imagine losing and forever keeping off all the weight that you want to lose? And finally being free of all the hang-ups about your body and how you look. That's what people are reporting after using the release technique, to knock out the subconscious programming that has kept them overweight no matter what they've tried. And there are plenty more personal testimony stories like these. In fact, there's hundreds of them. And the reason is simple. The release technique works where nothing else has. And the reason why? It's this. The release technique takes you directly into living from the peaceful flow state, so you can start achieving things and having things with seeming ease. And more specifically, here's why the release technique is different and better working than any other change technique that's out there. A full 95% of self-help personal change techniques on the market today about psychological manipulation. These psychological manipulation techniques like NLP, affirmations, mantras, traditional goal setting, positive thinking, etc., they're all about adding information to the mind in order to bring about a change of action and a change of results. Very rarely does anyone make fast change or improvement in their life with those types of adding information to the mind techniques. And if any improvements do occur, then they're always a struggle just to maintain. There's only a few, about 5% of the more effective techniques facilitate you through the subtraction or letting go of certain isolated beliefs that are A, causing unrest in your body and mind, B, standing in the way of you living the fullness of life and happiness that you most desire. These belief elimination techniques are good, but it can take months and most likely years for you to eliminate all the beliefs that are sabotaging you from living the full, abundant, and happy life that you most desire. And that leaves us with the release technique. What makes the release technique different and better than anything else on the market? It's simple. The release technique works directly on pulling up and getting rid of the underlying feeling programs, and not just isolated beliefs, that cause every negative, limited thought, belief, dark feeling, and unwanted circumstance in your life. Let's put it another way. The release technique works for you so all limited beliefs, feelings, the worldly struggle fall away, and you just simply know everything you want and need is being created for you in the most perfect way possible. So you just feel like doing or not doing the right things at the right time. Therefore, the release technique is not so much a belief change technique as it is an enjoyable way for you to live from your natural flow state. And when you live from that flow state where there's no struggle, no stress, the things you want, contentment, more money, better health, the right relationships, everything just begins showing up in your life, just in the process of living. So you've tried umpteen different style self-improvement techniques, and they haven't worked for you as well as you'd like. You owe it to yourself to try the most direct solution for all of life's problems, the release technique. But you don't have to believe a word that anyone says. I mean, that's because the release technique is instantly provable in your own life. Unlike positive thinking or affirmations, goal-setting techniques, and most other energy and healing modalities, the direct result of the release technique can be experienced internally right away. As soon as you use the release technique, you'll begin to feel calmer, more relaxed, and just feel more fully alive inside, positive about everything. And when you live from this place that is full of aliveness and peace inside, abundance in all its forms will naturally just start showing up in your external world. Money will appear. Your existing relationships will get better. The right people at the right time will come into your life, including a romantic partner if that's what you want. Opportunities will find you. And all resistance to achievement and getting things done will just drop away. Everything in your life will start working for a change without you even having to try. Which, I mean, let's face it, that's what we all want, right? A life that works, a life that just feels good, a life that doesn't wear us down in the process. And that's why over 160,000 people have been drawn to using the release technique over the past 25 years. And here's something else you should know. You are never left on your own with the release technique. The release technique is not just a home study product that you purchase. With the release technique, you are also eligible to receive free personalized one-on-one release technique coaching on the real pressing issues, situations, the problems that are occurring in your life. This personalized coaching is a $3,000 value, but you get it for free to use, take advantage of whenever you want. For example, let's say that you go through a particularly traumatic experience, like a relationship breakup, a financial crisis, maybe you lose your job. And if that's the case, you just pick up the phone and a qualified releaser will work with you personally to facilitate you through the release technique on your particular specific issue and then free you from the overwhelming emotional charge surrounding it. Then when the emotional charge and the mind chatter are gone and you're in that place of pure present moment awareness, the releasing facilitator will help you use the release technique to create the perfect life outcome for your particular issue or crisis. In other words, it's not about offloading a product onto you. It's about working with you directly to facilitate the changes or the results that you want to make in your life. We're not aware of anybody else out there that offers additional coaching for free for a full year. And the release technique, that we do. Anyway, for you to use and benefit from the release technique, which is taught to you and demonstrated for you in our flagship product, the Abundance Course, and you get access to the complimentary $3,000 personalized one-on-one coaching, the investment is normally $279. But now you can get the Abundance Course in a digital format so you can stream and follow along to it and start getting results from it right away for just $97. That's an immediate $82 savings, which works out to just a smidge over 50 cents a day over the course of a year. And once you know how to use the release technique, you know how to use it for the rest of your life. You can use it to attract more financial abundance and effortless success in your life. You can do so irrespective of COVID restrictions, how badly you're affected by the economy. You can eliminate problems and frustrations, bad habits from your life. Get yourself unstuck from any situation that's just not working for you. And overall, you can feel more aliveness and joyfulness inside all the time. The price of the Abundance Course will likely jump back up to $279 or more as soon as we have properly price tested it. But today, you can get the Abundance Course for just $97. It works out to a little over 26 cents a day over the course of a year. To get the Abundance Course at the discounted $97, the $3,000 personalized coaching, plus a whole other stuff we'll throw at you just for free, click the orange button below and start making a change in your life now.